the Racism Delusion. This sums up just commonly held and believed, and not really questioned, leftist attitudes towards the Western world. The Western world is incredibly unracist, and the majority of the racism in the Western world is aimed at white males. There's the number one political live political program on the BBC, Question Time. You just see a classic example of this, where a woman said Meghan Markle has had criticism from the press because she's black. I've seen no evidence of that. And then Lawrence Fox, a white man on the panel, said, no, I don't think it's because of racism. And then she shut him down and said, well, you're a white male. That's white male privilege. The move she made there is just racism and is just sexism. Can you imagine if a black woman made any point, and then a white man said to her, oh, well, you're just a black woman. You don't get to have an opinion on this. That's not what I think of making an example. That would be incredibly racist and sexist. But no one would ever do that, because white people aren't very racist and sexist. Certainly not to non-white people, and certainly not to women. No, the only racism and sexism that you could dream about on mainstream UK TV is racism against whites and sexism against men. And if you get the Dalit class, the straight white man, the bottom of society as far as the left is concerned, if you get them, you can just sit back and criticize them for being a straight white man. As if that's not fucking racist and fucking sexist. As if that's not Nazi behaviour. The moronic gender studies professor who made these accusations, she's pretty smug and proud of what she did. But the fact is, she's just a fucking Nazi. And she believes in Nazi ideology. She's been indoctrinated by the Nazi courses, gender studies, etc. The Nazi courses she studies at university. She's in a Nazi bubble. She is a Nazi. That is just one simple piece of evidence that the Western world is openly, constantly sexist and racist against white men. Yet these small-brained morons on the extreme left, like this Nazi, who told him basically to shut the fuck up because he's a white man, as if that's not just open and ludicrous racism. The left is propagating a myth that actually society is really racist against blacks and sexist against women. Except it isn't. The opposite is true. You would never get away, nor should you, get away with saying that against black men or black women or any other race or gender. It's only straight white men that are the legitimate target, the Dalit class for the Nazis, the gender studies Nazis, the intersectionalist Nazis, the feminist Nazis, because intersectional feminism is just a Nazi hate movement. And there's a perfect example of it. You would never, nor should you, get away with criticizing anyone else because of their race and gender. But she sat back and said, "Oh, you're a straight white man. That's typical of a straight white man." No, that's a fucking fallacy, dear. Address the point someone is making. Do not make an ad hominem attack based on immutable characteristics. Yes, certainly gender and race are immutable, even if some men want to put on a dress and call themselves a woman. So it's, but then, according to some people, gender is not immutable, but race is. Why can't you be transracial, but you can be transgender? There's no consistency here, but I digress. We live in an incredibly, deeply racist and sexist West against straight white men. This is everywhere. The only answer to racism is zero tolerance, and this goes for racism and sexism in either direction. Problem is, everything we're seeing is open Nazi level sexism and racism towards straight white men. There is a racism delusion amongst extreme Nazi leftists like this woman that the West is racist against blacks and sexist against women. This is just not true. This wasn't even really that true 10, 20, 30 years ago. It's definitely not true now. It's ridiculous to think this. But you've just got a large number of brainwashed morons on this extreme leftist side. Now, some of them must know they're lying. And they probably think it's a means to an end. I tell you what's not a means to an end. Fucking racism. Fucking sexism. These are not means to ends. They're just evil. And by saying, oh, you're a straight white male, you don't get to talk. You get to sit at the back of the bus. How is that better than doing that to any race or either gender? It's not. These are Nazi ideas. Intersexual feminism is just Nazism. This racism delusion is... the backlash is underway. I think that the public already know that people, even left-wing people, are getting sick and tired of the bullshit coming out of the propagandist mainstream media, like the BBC. Oh, you're a white male. That's a typical thing of a white male to say. That's like a fucking child in a playground saying, oh, you're a ginger. Oh, look at you. You're a poo face. Like, fuck it. Like, what? How moronically unintelligent do you have to be to think just accusing someone of being a certain race and gender addresses their argument and should make them shut up? Like, even if you've been indoctrinated into extreme leftist ideology, which all intersexual feminists have, surely part of you knows that's an illegal move to make in a good faith argument. That's not how you get to the truth. Surely some of these fucking idiots must know this. Why are they all too scared to fucking stand up? Why are there no feminists that I've ever heard, no intersexual feminists that say, yeah, it's not really a valid criticism to call someone a straight white male, tell them to shut up and sit back. It's not really a valid move. Is it because the people that feminism appeals to are just unintelligent? They're just not very smart. I think that could be part of it. I mean, how many extremely smart intersexual feminists have you met? I've never met one. I've met some quite averagely intelligent people. But it's that kind of argument that appeals to just very mediocre people that are incapable of, not even just incapable of having an argument, who don't want to find the truth, who don't have an inquiring mind, who aren't interested in the truth. They want they want to take power. They want to win petty points. They want to, have one over on someone rather than getting to the truth. They're just not that smart. They don't have an inquiring mind. So if you know some super intelligent feminists who would still do this, I'd be interested to know about them. I'm not sure they exist. I think feminists are mostly idiots. They're in, and the same goes for anyone in these intersectional fields. They are circularly cited. You just get bullshit papers being cited and other bullshit papers. It's all meaningless. It's all drivel. It's all pulled out of someone's arse. It's unfalsifiable nonsense. So the racism delusion, as propagated by extreme left-wing Nazis like intersexual feminists, like communists, morons who don't care about the truth. This racism delusion is gripping society, but the backlash is coming. People are getting fed up with it. People are starting to question this bullshit openly. It can never be a legitimate move to tell someone to shut the fuck up because of their race or gender. Clearly that's not. And the fact Lawrence Fox called this out as racism and called out the fact that these are immutable characteristics he can't change. The fact he did this on national TV, on the most popular politics show in the UK, in front of millions of people, that's an important sign that the backlash is coming, and that intersexual feminist Nazis are on the wrong side of this, and they're going to get destroyed in the public opinion stakes. People have had enough. They know the emperor's got no clothes. The left has no clothes. And the unveiling of their naked bodies is underway. Enjoy. The Deviant Developer Podcast. Tap subscribe in any podcast app to never miss an episode. Please leave a review on iTunes and like on YouTube. It's essential to spread the word. To contact me or make a welcome donation, go to thedeviantdeveloper.com. Your support is greatly appreciated.